What up, you pokey nerds? Alright, I've got some facts for you guys that you're not ready for, okay? There's the new Pokemon game on the market, and it's free! You might be asking yourself, Josh, how could a Pokemon game that's free be good? And I'll tell you right now, it usually isn't possible. In fact, most fan-made games aren't that great. But I finally found one that's really good. And I swear to God, this isn't a paid promo. I wish I was getting paid. But I'm pretty sure this dude has made no money. But I was looking around on TikTok one day and I'm like, alright, we'll go down this rabbit hole. You know, I'm already in the costume. I saw someone was playing Pokemon Flux and I'm like, I gotta get in on that shit. So I downloaded it and I've been playing it. Got like 8 hours in it and it's really good. Unfortunately, it's not a full game. You only get like the first like third of it or maybe like the first quarter, episode 1. But I played through that and I'm going to show you guys how that went for me. And it was a ton of fun. Alright, so I need you to do me 2 big favors here, alright? 1, like and subscribe, because I really appreciate it, and these videos are actually causing me physical pain. And 2, hit up my boy, insert name here because I can't remember, because he made a really great fan game and he deserves the recognition, alright? Let's take a look at the gameplay, it's really cool. Alright, right out the gate, this game comes banging with some pretty solid music. We're here in like a champion arena. This is basically the Pokemon League, but you get to see like a champion match early on. You got all the people watching, you know. It's a pretty spectacular sight, being able to see this Elite Four battle right out the gate, right? So the main champion guy's name is Alistar or Alistair. Not a League reference, I swear to God. But yeah, he's going against some other guy, and he's got some Pokemon that obviously you've never seen before, because this is an entirely new dex. So I see like a weird Lapras thing and like a Griffin, Manticore. I don't know what that purple thing is, but Alistair is about to clean up shop, and he does exactly that. Then immediately after that, you get to pick what character you want out of these 3. So this guy in the blue is Sky. The girl in the middle, I'm gonna be honest, I don't remember her name. And then we have Edgy Guy. I'm gonna go with Sky because he seems like a Chad. And I'm gonna name myself appropriately Squid. So we'll just get right into that. You guys know the drill. Pretty much right after naming our character, I come face to face with these rabid dog things. And luckily for me, the champion pulls up and, you know, he's gonna save us, right? He's gonna come through and save the day with his very powerful Pokemon. Psych, he actually gives us a bunch of little shitters. So now armed with a super cool Pokemon, I'm gonna go up and fight this rabid dog. And apparently Alistair is actually gonna help me. He queues up in the fight. He's ready to scrap. My boy Alistair, he's all about that action. So I throw out my boy, what is that thing? Anyway, we get into the tutorial fight and it's pretty easy. And then I get to keep my little goober. Alright, and now we're back to my hometown and we go into the Pokemon lab. As it turns out, the other character, this edgy kid, he's the professor's son. So when the professor comes out and gives everyone a Pokemon, this kid gets all the good shit. No, I'm just kidding, I get to pick first. But yeah, I'm gonna keep it a stack. Findolf is objectively the best starter, and if you disagree, you're wrong. So I'm gonna go ahead and queue up in a fight against Terra here, and she chose the grass-type bug, and I got my 2 water types. She thought she was gonna beat me, and that was just wrong. So I got Dork and Adolf, and I'm gonna keep it real. I can't do this anymore. Dork, he's gotta go. Alrighty then, I started over. I chose the edgy blue hair kid, and I'm getting the bat Pokemon from the champion now, because this is so much better than Selkie or Selkid. It doesn't matter. Alright, you know how it goes. Fight the dogs, name the bat something quirky, like, oh, I don't know, Echo, and choose the dolphin baby, and we win the fight because it's easy and it's a tutorial fight. Alright, with that out of the way, my friends say, hey, let's go meet at the next town over, and I'm like, well, I have no choice but to oblige, so sure. And I find myself in Warbler Park. So I immediately go looking for the smoke up here, and there's some kid that wants to battle. I take it personally that she exists in my Warbler Park, so I immediately dispatch her Humborb as soon as I can. And then I decide, you know what? That Humborb was kind of cool. I'll catch one for myself. So I go ahead and throw a Pokeball. Easiest catch of my life. This is basically your Pidgey for this region. Yeah, normal flying, pretty decent. I think it's another level 16 evolution, so you love to see it. And it's a little bit creative. It's like a chubby bird. Kind of cool. Unfortunately for my rival, she also happened to be in the same streets that I own, so I had to show her what it means to be in a marching band. So I pull up on her with my level 8 Echo and level 8 Gil, the Findolf or whatever, and we go to absolute town on him. I see a new Pokemon. This is Squirmy. It's a bug ground type, which is kind of cool. I like that it has a little dirt necklace going on. I like its chain. Yeah, this is another easy clap, as per usual. You know, it's just what we do in this business. We just beat our rivals like it's nothing. But yeah, no, pretty interesting Pokemon so far. Very inventive, very creative early route Pokemon. Gotta give props for designing some pretty good early route Pokemon. After powering through Warbler Park, we make our way to Condor City, and this is basically like the hub, or like the big town for the Pokemon region. You have a big Pokemon League building here, and the Pokemon League is primarily owned by this family of people with purple hair, which we're going to find out more about later, so pay close attention to this nerd. Like any good business owner would, this purple-haired guy immediately challenged me to a duel for walking into his building, and he pulls out something I haven't seen yet before. It's a Slewchew. And this is apparently this region's Pikachu, so you know, like a Plusle or like a Pachirisu. But this battle is important because it teaches you a very large aspect of battling in this game, which is Flux moves. They're special kind of like, think of like Z moves, but they give you certain passives and certain buffs or debuffs. You know, every Pokemon has a different set of Flux moves they can learn, and you can tap into it every battle, but you have like a finite amount of like Flux juice, so you gotta be careful when to use it and stuff. Pretty cool mechanic, not gonna lie. So yeah, I barely made it out of that one by the skin of my own dick, so that was kind of hard. But this guy takes me over to these new kiosks that will sell you those different Flux moves. Each Pokemon has a different set of Flux moves they can learn, and I can buy a couple here. I ended up buying like a normal type 1, a fire type 1, and a water type 1, which I completely forgot about after I bought them. After being told to do something else by another adult I don't know, I make my way to the next route, and I find a new regional variant Pokemon. This is a Nidoran, and I thought it was kind of weird. It looked like a snow bunny thing, and sure enough, it's actually a ground and ice type, which is a really cool combination and type to have so early on in the game. You don't usually get ice types early on. So I make my way into the next town, and this one has like a little school academy thing for trainers that don't know how to catch Pokemon, which is crazy to me. But, of course, I find that one edgy student who can't take no for an answer, and he's trying to break into this forest that has dangerous Pokemon to find his friend. And to be expected, this guy's a major asshole, so he tells me to move, and like any reasonable thinking person, I follow him home and I demand he battle me like an adult. Unfortunately, since this is a school setting, I can't just walk up and challenge other students to physical combat, so I have to go through the proper channels, which is asking if I can join in this tournament that I'm not even enrolled in this school to realistically participate in. I destroy the competition because these kids bring a bunch of bugs and weak-ass Pokemon until I can finally get to Gale, the real aggressor here, by the way. I finally challenge him, and he brings out some new ones. He brings out this Tanuki and Magief, Zangief, and you know, just like everyone else I fight, I put this motherfucker in the ground. So hard, in fact, that my Gil decided to evolve at level 16, like a normal water type should. So, we now have Delphender. He looks kind of cool, I'm not gonna lie. The design is kind of cool. He's got like the floaty things like Floatzel has from Diamond and Pearl. So it's kind of cool, I like him. After thoroughly trouncing this kid, I roll up in his dorm room and I tell him, put him up. But unfortunately, he gets away from me and hides in the library, which is where I find my friend Tara, and she tells me that all the dragons got hunted down in this region. So there's no dragon types, which is kind of nice. If there's a competitive scene, don't have to worry about a bunch of overpowered shit. Well, the kid told me to meet up with him at about 8 o'clock tonight, so I gotta go kill some time. So I go to the beach and catch myself my very own Slewchew. And it's pretty cool. I'm glad I finally have one. I honestly have no idea how much time has passed, so I have to kill more time. So I decided to train my team, and my bird evolved into a bigger bird that has cool goggles on, so that's really dope. So yeah, in addition to my bird evolving, my Nidoran also evolves into Nidorime or Nidorime. Again, really cool having such an early game ice and ground type. Super cool. And immediately after that, I head over to the kid because I'm like, dude, how is it not 8 o'clock yet? And I find out there's a wait option that lets you specifically go to what time you need. So time-based events in this game are probably going to be pretty pertinent, which I guess I probably should have been paying a little bit more attention. But yeah, this kid shows me that he has this little secret behind the bookcase door, which takes you to the forest. It's a secret entrance into the forest. While in the forest, I find this little Bushido-looking C-Dot thing for my encounter for the area, and he looks kind of cool. I can't wait to see what he turns into. While we're here, we also have to have our boss fight of the area, which is an Ultra Pokemon. I don't think I've taken the time to explain what that is yet, so let me do that now. So, Ultra Pokemon are basically like totem Pokemon from Sun and Moon, right? They're enhanced versions of like regular Pokemon. So this Grimpos was the boss for this area. And he actually, this got me pretty close to thinking I was going to lose some Mons here. My teammate did, but I don't care. My Sludge barely makes it through, kills the Grimpos, and that's going to be the end of the boss fight for this forest area. We reignite with this kid's friend, and the friend's like, damn, Squid, you're such a good trainer. And then we all immediately get reprimanded by the principal of the academy. And I'm not even a student here. I'm getting in trouble, and I am not even really a student here. Like, I'm going to take off immediately after this town, like, the arc here is done. So I'm just getting in trouble for nothing. So, to further go along with my plan of not getting in trouble, I make my way back into the forest, and then Sky wants to fight me. So he brings out his evolved bird, and then he has this little armadillo guy, which is kind of cool looking, I'm not gonna lie, but I missed the encounter for him, so, you know, I'm kind of stuck. Now, I'll be honest here, these fights are starting to get a little bit more difficult, especially if you're Nuzlocking it, right? You have the risk factor. So I'm going to tell you guys straight up, this is around the point where if you're Nuzlocking it, you're going to want to start planning out your teams a little bit more smart, right? You're going to want to start getting specific Pokemon that are in certain areas. You might want to get the possum over maybe the bird, right? So, that said, I definitely cream him. I destroy his second stage starter. But this is around the point in the game where if you are wanting to play like a more challenging run, you got to start thinking about each fight. After that rival fight, I make my way into the cave in front of me, and I see a whole new set of Pokemon in front of me, and I have a new encounter available now. And that new encounter is going to be this thing called Gonna Fix. He's got a little wrench tail. I push on through until I run into a roadblock, which is this woman telling me that there's an actual roadblock behind us preventing any hikers from getting through. She shows me how to use these lanterns on the rocks and tells me I'm going to have to go around the long way. Which is kind of a good thing because taking the long way yielded the first shiny of my run. I'm not even going to pretend like I know the stats about encounter rate for shinies or what the odds are or any of that stuff. All I know is I extremely lucked out here. You can tell when it's a shiny Pokemon because it'll make a little sparkle noise when it first spawns, and then its name will be in yellow as opposed to the normal white. So I catch this Spectolotl thing, which is a psychic and water type axolotl Pokemon, very creative, and I throw him in the box because he has a horrible nature. While still trying to find my way out of this cave, I run into this Wingy Hut Jr. Gold member, and he wants to challenge me to a duel. But first he wants me to look at myself in this rock and really reflect on how much better I am of a trainer than everybody else in this entire region. He of course wanted a little bit of smoke here, and he actually comes out with a couple of new ones. So we have little Cosmite and Grizzlet. Grizzlet, I'm going to go out on a limb and assume this is like the baby form of that horrifying griffin thing that he had in the beginning of the game. He did initially say that this is like his bitch team, to put it lightly. So I am getting the nice treatment. But either way, this was actually one of the harder fights. I kind of barely made it through. If I didn't have this Sludge with Electroweb that hit both targets, I don't think I would have had as easy of a time. After dispatching his minor league team, the champion here tells me that there's another town outside of this cave and I should hurry over. New place is called Rooktown. Instead of being a good soldier and following orders though, I instead trained on all the rock types that were in there with my Teru thing, and he evolved into this big boy. Look at this guy, he's a big Daikon Radish thing. I'm not gonna lie, if I didn't evolve him, this next fight would have absolutely wiped my entire team. So I found this Wishy-Washy early on, and I'm like, oh, it's weird and purple, and I just thought it was going to be like a purple Wishy-Washy. I had no idea it was going to turn into a Kraken. What a cool idea. I think this is such a cool thing, and you know, my whole thing is like squids. So I sick my boy Bud on him, and he absolutely tears him to shreds with leafage. So, huge shout out to what's this? Dicungus. I call him Bud because he looks like a little buddy. But yeah, if I didn't have them, this would have been the end of the run. Though wild encounters are easily avoidable, I did still go through far too many in there, just like every cave in every Pokemon game. But after I make my way out, I find myself in Rooktown, which is basically like a western mining town. After doing a little walking around, I discovered that the town's all meeting up outside of this saloon, arguing with some rich kid about how the power's out. Turns out the rich kid is the son of the guy who owns the power plant, who also happens to be the guy who owns the Pokemon League. There have to be some kind of Pokemon monopoly limiting laws, right? You can't own everything. After the townsfolk disperse, the lady who owns the saloon, she sends me on a little bit of a mission to go check out the power plant and see why exactly is the power out, because the rich kid isn't going to tell us shit. We get stopped by these construction workers, and like any good kid, I immediately break in through the fence outside the building, but get caught by yet another security guard. Unfortunately for that security guard, I happen to know judo, so I threw him over the fence and I went inside and caught myself a Gerbolta, which is like a little hedgehog-looking gerbil ground electric type. Which I kind of like I like the design of him. He looks like a weird little Sonic character, I guess. But less cringe. Because everyone in the Pokemon world determines value of a person through how many dubs they have in Pokemon battles, this rich kid challenged me, and of course I destroyed him and his weird-looking Meowth. After wiping the floor with Richie Rich here, he invited us inside his power plant to help him take on the Ultra Pokemon that seemed to be doing damage. But in the process, I caught this sweet light bulb and I named him Nicola. So spoiler alert here, basically the power plant's going to be revolving around 3 keys which are guarded by 3 Ultra Pokemon. All of the Ultra Pokemon are actually pretty tough except the Magnemite. But once you get those 3 keys, you take them to a main room, and in that main room is an even stronger Ultra Pokemon that's inside waiting for you. After finding all the keys and kicking in the main door, I discovered that last Ultra Beast I was talking about, yeah, he's a big-ass... This is a D battery right here. This is a Duracell D battery, and he does not fuck around. Now, this is my boy the Negachin, right? This Negawatt thing came out of nowhere, and he absolutely shook me up. Prior to now, Ultra Pokemon weren't that hard. This changed that precedent entirely. Unfortunately for my partner, most of his team got absolutely eviscerated, but for me, I had a nice ground type here, so we were able to take out this Negawatt. But this thing is strong. I don't know how to find this, and I don't think that he's accessible within the 30 level cap in the first part of this episode 1, but holy shit, he was a cool Pokemon. So yeah, now that we've beaten the problem that was making our power plant not work, Rich Kid sicks his guards on us and basically tries to put a choke order on us. But his dad pulls up in the Rari and makes sure that he takes care of us for doing our part. Really should have figured the whole purple hair thing on the kid meant his dad is the Pokemon League chairman guy, so here he is to reprimand his kid for being a horrible stand-in owner of the power plant. We took care of all the monsters inside, so he tells us we should try out the Pokemon League in town, back over in Rook. And of course we're going to do it, but this is kind of the part of the story where we start to get involved into the geopolitics as 10-year-olds. So this is a pretty cool little surprise. So the professor rolls up right as I get to the Pokemon League, and he gives me a Dust Stone to evolve the little bat that the champion gave me. I'm not sure if this is going to be the same stone across all 3 of the different Pokemon the champion gives you in the beginning, but at the very least, I know I got a Dust Stone, so yeah, I was pretty pleasantly surprised to get this. After getting that stone, I immediately forced it down my pet bat's throat until he evolved. And I'm liking the little Dracula theme that they're going with. I'll definitely be picking this up in the final version of the game. He maintains his dark and poison typing. Unfortunately, he's not very physically strong, so the new move he learned, which is a Dark Leech Life, is kind of useless. With Dracula himself on my team, I feel like I can take on any challenge, so I go ahead and walk on into the league, and I start signing up. As it turns out, for this system, I need to obtain 4 victory stars, which I'll be getting from 4 different battles, all of which are unfortunately going to be in double battle format. That's something I guess I should have mentioned. This game definitely focuses on double battles. It's extremely common. You still maintain your 6 Pokemon team, but a lot of the major fights are done in duos. With my Dark and Poison typing on my Echo, I have a pretty easy time taking out this fairy bat thing. That little fire guy obviously gets taken out by my Gil as well. This is a pretty easy first match, and gotta say, a lot of these matches have been up and down in difficulty. I think the creator of this game did a really good job of balancing out certain fights being more difficult and other ones being a nice breath of fresh air for easiness, gives you an opportunity to let your weaker Pokemon train up a little bit. If you want to do a little bit of EV farming, you can do that pretty comfortably while maintaining a good amount of experience. Making our way to our next fight, we have Gale, and he has now his probably fully evolved Tanuki, and that thing looks menacing. It's like a weird wolf hyena thing. Luckily for us, just like the first fight with Gale, this is a pretty easy one. My Gerbolta goes through and eviscerates his pet bird, and good old Echo finishes off his Tanscure. Yeah, after cleaning up my second victory star, I move on to Terra for my third. And this battle actually wasn't too bad either. She does bring out a Daikungus, which was something I was pretty concerned about considering I have a bunch of ground types, but we managed to pull through because of Echo's Poison Fang. Now this second to last semi-finals battle I had to do, this one was the first of the Pokemon League challenges that was actually difficult. Her Gerbolta was the same level as mine, but I think it must have had a better nature because he almost cleaned my clock pretty easily. After a lot of very risky switching, we were finally able to take her out. Now, believe it or not, this battle was an actual surprise to me. I didn't expect the saloon bar lady to be the Pokemon League champion. She may have actually said it back in the town and I just missed it entirely, but I did not expect her to come out swinging. And she was the first actual fight where I lost Pokemon and I did not feel comfortable going into or leaving that fight. That Daikungus came packing heat with Intimidate, and that Tyrannable, monster. I unfortunately let this Go-Goat get away with murder, and he did end up taking out a couple of my Mons, but we were able to take it out eventually with an Acrobatics from Space Case. We are not looking great moving forward. Thank God there are no more fights needed in the Pokemon League Challenge. On my way out with my friends, we run into Aquila, which is Richie Rich's dad, and he asks us if we'll join him in his building back in Condor Town to talk about some interesting information he has for us. I don't know if I was supposed to find a bike or like some roller skates or something, but I basically raw-footed it all the way back to Condor Town to meet up with the boys outside the League HQ building. We finally get escorted up to the top floor, and Aquila should be there waiting for us to give us this special information. After finally getting led into Aquila's office, I'm introduced to yet another purple hair and white highlights person in this family, and before I can even breathe, I'm immediately challenged to a battle by this new mystery purple-haired friend. Just like the last couple of fights, this was yet another pretty difficult one. Came out swinging with the fully evolved Salmon Pokemon and then the Pokemon Center Chansey equivalent. It's electric and I think fairy, but this thing definitely did a number to me. This is a pretty hard fight. I'll go ahead and tell you now. I don't know how to evolve my Nidoran or my Nidoran, but whatever I need to do, I gotta figure it out because this Nidoran, this thing ran a train on the remainder of my team. I had to pull a bunch of weak shitters out of the box, and we almost did not make it. This could have been the end of my run right here, and I hate to spoil it again, this is actually the last fight you're gonna have of this first chapter. All my Pokemon that are level 30 have been capped and they're not leveling up anymore. After winning that pretty difficult fight, I actually get a sponsorship from Aquila and the Rich People family. They want me to go through and do the Pokemon challenges, but secretly knock out some of these altar Pokemon that are causing disturbances around the world. For very obvious reasons, my fellow 10-year-olds think that this is a horrible idea and we're not equipped to do this, and this is champion work, but me being the elite Pokemon trainer that I am, I'm definitely up for the challenge, and I personally am looking forward to seeing what comes in episode 2, because this is the unfortunate end of episode 1. I had a great time playing this, and I cannot stress enough for you guys to go find Pokemon Flux on Instagram, Twitter, Discord. Great game, and I don't have enough good things to say about it. This is Editor Josh right now. I've been at this video, putting it all together, cutting it up and stuff for about 14 hours now. Not straight, I've been taking breaks. I went to Dutch Bros. But, yeah, no, this was a lot of fun. This game was awesome. I definitely want you guys to go check out Pokemon Flux on Twitter, Instagram, Discord. I think the link was right there. If you didn't see it there, I'll put it in the description below. But this is a ton of fun, and if you like this kind of content, I stream this over my Twitch channel almost every day. I'm live at 9 p.m. MST till about midnight MST. Stop by. It'll be a lot of fun to have you there. Can't wait to see you. But yeah, thanks a lot, guys, for watching, and if you want to see more of these kind of videos, Nuzlocks and stuff like that, let me know. I guarantee you when episode 2 comes out, I will be putting up a video immediately, so be on the lookout for that. But until then, I'll see you guys later, alright? Bye! Have a good day. Bye.